What the Nuffield Council on Bioethics is trying to do with this project is to understand what the public views are. What do people believe are the relevant social, ethical and practical considerations? This project is the first citizens' jury on assisted dying in England. It's often described as the missing piece in the evidence around the debate on assisted dying. We hope to generate independent, credible and well-informed evidence of public views on the topic.
I'm convinced that a citizens' jury is absolutely essential to explore assisted dying. It's a hugely complex, emotional topic. It requires this level of deliberation to really delve into the subject in enough detail and nuance to really understand what people think and why they feel the way they feel.
After over 6 weeks of meeting online, we're here in person. It's quite something.
Invitations were sent out to thousands of households across England, and the jury members were selected on the basis of getting a broad group of people in the room who have different attitudes towards the topic.
I've been retired coming up 7 years, and I don't often give my brain a whir. And I was just like, well, let's just see how we go. See if I can understand it, see if I can come up with ideas of my own.
It is similar to a legal jury. You hear a range of evidence and then you unpick it as any jury would, and then come out with recommendations. If you do just a survey or a poll, all you get is that people do or do not want a change in the law. There are really important subtleties and nuances. How the process might be conducted, by who might be eligible. This understands all those complexities underneath.
In the first small groups, I remember meeting a few of the jury members, and immediately brainwaves are sparking, people were asking questions back and forth and gathering as much information as they possibly could. And throughout the webinars, hearing the different speakers on both sides, we heard religion, we heard disability. They gave us an incredibly broad spectrum of information.
I've had to learn how to build the components of a law and ethics. So there's a lot before we even got onto the subject matter to actually help. My knowledge was building all the time.
Doctors and nurse practitioners should be allowed to opt out.
Okay, so it's quite a practical point.
Goes in with quite a few of the other things, the comfort gained from the autonomy. I think something that
Being
came
able
up
to make an autonomous decision.
Something that came up through the Canadian experience. Because I've had quite a lot of medical history myself, it's quite close to my heart. I'd approached this from a point of view, I think, that I was very positive towards assisted dying. But then I hadn't seen any of the evidence. So I had no idea that there was a perspective from disabled people's point of view which would make them feel uncomfortable. I went on the fence. And I came off it again today.
The commissioning of the project by the Nuffield Council of Bioethics is coming from an independent position. There is a real duty to remain balanced and not to influence people's decisions. So the volume of content has been a challenge, and I think that has made the project incredibly thorough and detailed.
At no point was there any pressure, at no point where we ever felt like we were pushed in a certain direction. It was, here's this information, how can we support you? Everybody was included. You get people that have lived long lives and you get people that are trying to figure out where they stand and what they stand for.
I suppose equality, like Christine said, with the postcode lottery, so that everybody, if it is brought into law, it's equal.
Getting together, everyone in a forum gets the best out of everyone. It gave a lot of insight. Instead of the policymakers deciding what is needed for the community, you work with people, involve the people, and make the decision along with the people.
It's really important we work as a citizens' jury, giving you space and time to share your views and we capture them, yeah. I believe citizens' juries are a really significant part of a democracy. It's palpable how much people want to talk about the issues. They want to show to policymakers that they have a view and they care about the things across society which affect us all.
Okay, everyone, so the vote is question 1. It is the last time we vote on this. Should the law in England be changed to permit assisted dying?
Throughout the process, my views were changing all the time with the different evidence being presented. It's not that I'm against assisted dying. I'm not sure the health system and other things in this country are in place as much as they really need to be for this process to come in.
Initially, when I came into the process, I was undecided. Then after, I think, the first 2 sessions, I went against because I wasn't convinced that vulnerable people could be safeguarded effectively. But then, I think it was one of the last online sessions, they brought forward some statistics and case studies that suggested that it was possible to safeguard and mitigate the process for vulnerable people. So then my opinion changed again to for it, and that's what I voted.
16 of you strongly agree that the law in England should be changed. 4 tend to agree, 1 is undecided, 5 tend to disagree, and 2 strongly disagree. There are a lot of recommendations this jury wants to make clear. Terminal physical illness is the only eligibility criteria for many. The act of helping a friend and family member travel to Dignitas should be decriminalised. More funding should be put towards improving the quality and availability of NHS palliative care, training more pain management nurses.
People should have capacity to make their own decision, and no one can do it on their behalf.
Having a medical practitioner on site just to ensure that people are supported, the right procedures are being followed, the medication's not left in vulnerable hands is very, very important in this process.
We decided that there needs to be a national conversation that is ongoing and communication on assisted dying with the wider society.
We hope this work is considered in its entirety by policymakers. We really want to see if we can generate a wider public discussion about what the people here have decided today.
Although people might have disagreed on things, we've been able to merge everybody's ideas together and form quite a strong presentation to be brought forward. Especially within generations now, there isn't really much sense of community. Having these discussions and having these generations all be together means that we're able to go, this is what we want and this is what's best for you and for us.
I think it was brilliant that the process just made sure that everybody got a voice. So even those that didn't speak out were asked, and I think that added a lot of value to what came out.
I feel like even this tiny little bit is a big part of the big picture. So I'm really proud of everyone.
I'm surprised by how moved I am. I didn't expect to be moved by the process, the fact that we have a cross-section of British society in one room, and the fact that they're given so much space and so much respect, and that people are animated and talking about really quite difficult issues. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to observe.
I'd say this process has definitely shifted something. I've never been consulted about anything that mattered before. I think there's a lot of hopelessness amongst a lot of people my age and younger, so they don't vote. And I think that's because they've lost a lot of faith. But maybe processes like this, like a citizens' jury, would give people hope.
I felt heard throughout. It's not something I've ever done before. It was a challenge and an opportunity. I'll know, and my kids will know, that I took part. So yeah, I feel